Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about a movie that I watched in theaters recently called Vengeance. Now this movie is by BJ Novak. You guys might know him as Ryan Howard from The Office. Now BJ Novak actually used to be one of the writers on the show, so I don't doubt his credibility when he was put in charge to write this movie, direct this movie, and sort of make it his personal project. Now there isn't that much hype leading up to this movie. I've only seen the trailer for this movie, I would say at least twice in my theaters before my actual movie was about to start in the previous screenings, and I haven't really seen other reviewers talk about this movie as much, especially not the popular ones like Jeremy Jahns or Chris Stuckman or even your major outlets like IGN. But regardless, I wanted to give this movie a try just because it seemed very different than what was going to be coming out around this time back in the day, and I was really excited for this movie to come. I was a bit worried that this movie might not show up in my local theaters just because Thor released in theaters, and usually Disney movies tend to take up majority of the screens, and some smaller movies tend to get bumped off to more regional theaters in my area at least. So I went in without any expectations, and here are my thoughts on the movie. To summarize it really quick and upfront, this movie is fantastic. It is one of the best movies I've seen this year. I feel like I said that about a lot of movies, but it is definitely true here. I don't think anyone is going to dislike this movie or think that it's a bad movie. The movie is funny, it has emotions, it's got life messages, and it's very wholesome. I think BJ Novak has done a really great job in creating a meaningful script, giving us meaningful characters, a setting that is very interesting and different than what we see in other movies, and tying it all together by bringing in emotions and giving us a good narrative with amazing pacing. So let's step into the details of this movie, starting off with the characters. I really enjoyed the characters in this movie because even the dislikable characters are pretty likable, and I've noticed that a lot of movies and TV shows have a hard time making dislikable characters likable. It takes a lot of effort and ingenuity to make sure that your character is well developed, and BJ Novak has managed to do that for a bunch of characters in this movie. Now, apart from his main character Ben, there are a lot of side characters, and you don't necessarily get to know all that much about them because they're not present on the screen the entire time. But the moments that they do show up on screen, you get to know what their life is like, how they think, and how they're different than, the other family members. Some notable characters include the brother, who is very likable. You would think that on a first glance that he would be rude, racist, a typical Texan, but that's not at all. He's actually very smart, clever, he knows his stuff, and he really loves his family, which is very admirable. And then of course you have the rest of the family, including the two sisters, which are doing their own thing, and then the brother, who actually gave me one of my favorite moments in the movie when he comes up and asks to sleep right next to Ben because he's afraid of ghosts, and they share a quick banter. And then one of my other favorite characters would have to be the TV music producer, because his whole shtick is that people always think or assume that a music producer out in South Texas is going to be weird, random, out of touch, this and that. Yet he's the complete opposite. He's sensible, he appreciates his craft, he knows what he's talking about, and he knows how to take care of people. And he even points that out that people don't expect that from him. And overall, his character was very charming. I think Ashton Kutcher did a really great job in portraying the character and bringing it to life. Now, those were the characters. What about the setting? I think BJ Novak did a great job capturing the rural Texas, seeing nothing but distant sand and a few houses here and there really gives you the feeling that you're kind of alone in this state, and it's lonely out there. And with that sense of loneliness also comes a sense of uneasiness, not only from the setting where you could get lost and no one can find you, but also the people. If something were to happen to this main character, he could disappear and never come back and no one would care. And that's just one of the things I appreciate about the setting, is that the rural Texas isn't something that we usually see in movies, but to see it on big screen, I especially liked it a lot. Lastly, something else that stood out to me was the musical undertones. This movie might be my favorite movie when it comes to using background music to amp up the scene and the mood and what is about to happen, because there were a lot of scenes where the music perfectly accompanied the scene and the character and the dialogue. And usually movies tend to only have that moment once or twice here and there, but I feel like in this movie constantly BJ Novak hit it on the spot when it comes to the choice of music that's accompanying the scene. Whether it's an upbeat tempo to show that time's passing by and his character is making good progress, or slow, calm music to let us know that he's reflecting and he's changing and he's learning something new. Overall, it's a job well done by the entire crew. The actors did a great job, the filmmakers did a great job, BJ did a good job directing and writing the script, and overall this movie left me pretty happy. I honestly have no complaints about it. I think it's a well done movie and it makes me excited to see what next BJ Novak is going to do. I highly recommend you guys go see this movie. You don't have to see it in theaters. It's one of those movies where if you pay attention at home, you can enjoy it there as well. And overall, I hope you guys like it. Anyway, if you did watch the movie, let me know what you guys think. And if you haven't yet, are you gonna go watch this movie? Let me know in the comment section below and I will see you guys next time.